Alright, yeah, let's plug this in some other servers. Whoops. Whew. Brain fell asleep there. By Retro Ranta, link to his channel in the description. Pretty good. Well, it's not. Well, it's a remix by him, but yeah, he does great work. Hi, Copa. How's it going, man? Trying to plug this in the service so I can get some more people. The old self-promotion rooms. It's really awkward because most of these guys are American, so they're not, probably won't be awake. A lot to talk about here. There's a lot to talk about today. Like, all of these tabs are pretty much Johnson's madness. Yeah, man, I can't lie. I've got some anxiety. If you look at the RAM usage here, it's really high. Like, this is the highest I've pushed the RAM on my computer, so I've got some a bit of anxiety on that, but it's holding. So if my computer crashes, it's down to the high RAM usage. But yeah, we move, innit? We move. This is going to be a really messy live stream, just because so many things to talk about with regards to the Christmas party and December for Johnson. Like, just so much to talk about. So what we'll do is, in about 5 minutes time, we'll turn the tunes off and we'll start streaming. We'll start talking about the topics, but let's see if I can find. He uploads so much content, Retro. It's insane the amount he does. Where's the? This is the one we want. Wait, has he got Giles? I'm sure he did Giles. Sure, we'll go classic. We'll go Ryu then. Good afternoon, P.E. Dulles. Dulles, I'm not sure how to pronounce the rest of your name, but yeah. Man like P.E. We're going to start about 3 o'clock. We'll see, we'll get some more people in. Dun, 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 dun. My mate ordered a PC that cost that's a lot of money. That is a lot. I hope he's got a good computer there. The first with the U is like U was correct. It was type of bamboo actually. I will go with P.E. Dulles then. Dulles, yeah. About 4 minutes until we start. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Not the most productive morning. I've managed to record a couple of videos, but I haven't managed to edit them or anything like that. So I might just try and hit the mic and go tomorrow, because today wasn't the best. I woke up late today, so probably will try and be more productive tomorrow. I'm gonna say. Stuff on Big Rough Raniak. Anything you guys want to say before I start the stream? Hopefully get some more people in. If not, we can start. It's no worries. The wheels coming off, and Johnson's on a unicycle. Through that, it feels like it's falling apart. But you just, with this guy, you don't know, man. You just don't know. I mean, even Trump, like some of the stuff he was saying was absolutely insane. And then he just, you know, he didn't lose by much in the end. You know, Donald Trump did not lose by much. So Johnson is Teflon. He's the same thing. Does he want to use for crypto mining? I've got a fancy card for that. I wish I had a fancy card. Well, my card's decent. It's a 1080. Excuse me, but you always want a better card. There's always a better card out there. Unless you're in a 3090. Which I don't think there's a better card than that. Got another minute left to see if we got some. There's my favourite one there. Yeah, so what I was saying. So they will vote for him anyway, even though one said there is nothing Bojoke did well. I mean, yeah, I mean these people are crazy though, innit? These people are crazy. The ones who will continue to vote for Johnson are just insane. Even Johnson can't shrug this off. Bro, you just don't know with this guy. I'm telling you, he's Teflon. He's, Joe Biden was very lucky in the end to win that election, to get rid of Donald Trump. But Trump could come back. He once said he could not imagine. I think I just read that one out. I think triggering Article 16. Nah, he's not going to do it now. He's not going to do it. They've backed down. They've backed down on the ECJ stuff, so they're not going to do Article 16. The only one they can start a fight with is France, and they don't want to do that. So I don't think he's going to do Article 16. I think that was his plan B in case it goes wrong. But yeah, we'll do it. We're gonna start the stream now. What we're going to do is we're going to start I've got a load of topics here. It's in a bit of a random order just because I've been compiling this stuff for the last week now on like Twitter and stuff, and so yeah. The other problem is the constant infighting on the left. Those who did not like Corbyn are responsible for Bojoke in office. Now those who didn't like Stan will be. Yeah, that's true. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Absolutely. So done that by now. Yeah, I think they tried to do the rules as a distraction, but yeah. So we've got Sunak has been dragged into it. So Treasury defends impromptu drinks a party after the Sunak's autumn budget. Afternoon. The Treasury has been forced to defend officials holding an impromptu drinks party to celebrate Sunak's autumn spending review. There's not much to celebrate, was there? A small number of people celebrated around their desks, which they weren't actually allowed to do as far as I know of, because the lockdown rules. Despite reports putting that closer to 24, so about 24 civil servants. A team of officials working on the Chancellor's spending review announcement stayed after hours for a party on the 25th of November, the Times has reported. Now, Sunak has denied any knowledge of this, but this is one of those things that could drag him down. Because now his name's been thrown into this. And the question is, right, and this is the question which I kind of want to ask towards the end of this stream as well, is who the hell is leaking all this stuff now? What is going on? Government sources said the drinks were not planned, but the civil servants involved brought beer and wine from a nearby supermarket. So you're telling me, right, these guys dashed to the shop, bought all this alcohol back into these offices that are incredibly secure, and then just started drinking, and no one stopped it. No one thought to say anything. It's crazy. Government spokesperson said the drinks were not planned. Treasury spokesperson told The Guardian a number of HMT staff came into office work on the spending review, had been made aware that a small number of staff had impromptu drinks, which, you weren't allowed to do. Also, why the hell are government ministers drinking inside the office anyway? You're not allowed to do that. The Treasury did not organise an in-person department party last Christmas. They didn't organise, but evidently they allowed it by the looks of it. During November lockdown, non-essential shops, leisure and environmental venues were closed, as well as pubs, bars and restaurants. People were told to stay at home. And were all these people that were drinking socially distanced in the office? I don't think so. The latest controversy comes as Downing Street Johnson faces criticism over the allegations of parties. So Sunak, not really Sunak, the Treasury's been dragged into this. We've got Boris Johnson has effed it. Tory MPs say their leader has lost the dressing room, which is crazy. Essentially, if you don't watch football or sports, losing the dressing room means that, essentially you've lost everyone around you. Like, everyone just doesn't care, or they just don't like you anymore. Murdoch probably had the stuff for a year and now decided to publish it like he waited before. Yeah, it's possible. It could be that them and No, I don't think it is. I don't think it's Sunak this time, because he's being dragged into it now as well. The Treasury are being dragged into it. That's his department. So Johnson's had a new kid, so essentially he's having a kid to distract from this. He's planned this. In just the past few days, Johnson has faced allegations of a cover-up of a Christmas party. I mean, if it's the case that he's lost the dressing room, he's lost the cabinet, he's in real trouble here. He's heading into Theresa May level territories. Even Laura Kuenssberg, one of his big fans, or seems to be one of his big fans, saying, is Planet Johnson or Boris already finally going to implode? I mean, if you've got people like Kuenssberg questioning it, then I'd be scared. The tip of the iceberg, it can't improve now. There are hundreds of skeletons in the closet, possibly. Events have been disastrous, they admitted, yet they seemed sure at that moment that the Prime Minister's ability to defy any normal political gravity would see him through. But then on Tuesday, a video emerged showing aides joking about a Downing Street party, something we'll talk about in a moment. The humiliating leak engulfed Number 10 in a fresh crisis that showed no signs of easing. Let's not forget, the Patterson stuff was not long ago, and then you had reports of traces of cocaine being found in Westminster toilets, which has been completely overshadowed by this Christmas stuff. One senior official summed up as, it's a disaster. There's been miscalculations and missteps, attempts to change the rules to protect their own, talking about Patterson, the disastrous efforts to close down stories about Christmas parties last year, and most recently a fine for the Conservative Party over the financing of the flat, which they said that, I think the Electoral Commission said that it's beyond reasonable doubt that Johnson, they fined him, so we'll talk about the specifics, I don't want to get in trouble. But if you actually watch the video here, I mean, this is embarrassing stuff here. This is absolutely embarrassing for the Conservative Party, because they caught you in 4K, essentially.
I've just seen reports on Twitter that there was a...
Can you guys hear that?
Christmas party on Friday night. Do you recognise those reports?
I went home. Hold on.
So her line was going to be, if they asked her about a Christmas party, she was going to say, I wasn't there. That was her first line, so deflect.
Would the Prime Minister condone having a Christmas party?
What's the answer?
I don't know.
I mean, no is the answer. He approves Christmas parties.
It wasn't a party, it was cheese and wine.
Just to be clear, it's not.
So that's kind of their line. They're saying, it's just cheese and wine.
Is cheese and wine all right? No. It was a business meeting.
So they were trying to come up with ways to kind of deny it.
I'm joking.
This is recorded. His fictional party was a business meeting. And it was not socially distanced.
There you go, boom. So look, she's admitted it there, look. This fictional party was a business meeting. It was not socially distanced. So there, she's basically admitted it.
And it was not socially distanced. And it was not socially distanced. And it was not socially distanced. His fictional party was a business meeting. And it was not socially distanced.
People died. I think there's around 500 people died that day. So, yeah. I don't have any sympathy for her. So, there's people saying, look, the lady resigns again, never the men. Well, they caught her in 4K. All right? They caught her in 4K. All of these other guys should go. Let's see, they got a name on this person here. Where is it? This guy here, Ed Oldfield, he should go, the special advisor. But, they caught her in 4K. She's paid £100-something thousand a week. It is right she resigned. She didn't have to. She could have waited this out. She's done nothing wrong, really. But evidently she knew there was a Christmas party and she didn't alert the feds. She said it was a business meeting and they had wine and cheese. Probably. I mean, I don't know. I think she'll go back to the private sector, to be honest. You've got the Prime Minister appears to have been, he's claiming he was misled by civil servants. This was context, actually. So this is this person's MP, Scarborough Lass, Robert Goodwill, saying that the Boris Johnson wasn't aware, and it was actually the civil servants who had done this. Saying the Prime Minister appears to have been misled by civil servants about what took place. As more details emerged, he took decisive action by instigating an investigation by the Cabinet Secretary. It was at your house, pal. Like, what? Should evidence emerge that laws were being broken, then the evidence will pass to the Met Police, who will do absolutely nothing. In that situation, the internal investigation would have to be paused to allow the police to complete their work. So essentially, they know the Met Police won't investigate this. So what they're saying is nothing's going to happen. There could also be staff disciplinary action for those involved if rules were broken. As you know, one civil servant has already resigned, and yet our Prime Minister is still in place. Okay. So evidently the MPs, this is the line they're going off. This is the line they're going to go for, which is it was the civil servants who did this. Boris Johnson wasn't aware, and they are investigating it. This is the line that they're going to go for. We go to the next bit. We've got some polling here, so evidently this is not going well. Let's have a look. Ian Payne was defending it this morning. I mean, yeah, that guy sounds painful to listen to. Should have been guaranteed a taxpayer job. She only had a month left. Party upstairs, Boris. What's that noise? Nothing. Yeah, evidently. There's a couple of funny tweets about that people have put out. It's great, honestly, so great. Yeah, trust me. Wait until you find that tweet. I would be a bit annoyed. The only person I can see doing that is my sister, which I showed her that tweet and she got a good laugh out of it. Police have really shown their true colours. I mean, they've shown it a while ago. They've refused consistently to investigate the Conservative Party and Vote Leave, and only the Electoral Commission and is her name Catherine Stone, have done anything, because the Met Police won't investigate the Tories and the Tories won't investigate the Met Police. Their relationship is symbiotic. That's how it works. They're the same, they don't investigate each other because they're there to protect each other. I mean, this is disastrous for the Tory party right now. Essentially they flipped with Labour's position. They're at 32%. That's crazy. That is so bad for them. So new polling by YouGov finds that 1 in 10 people would not follow new household mixing rules, specifically because of the Downing Street party. So, these new restrictions won't even work properly. And, we're going to face another very long lockdown potentially because of the fact that this government could not, not have a Christmas party. It's not hard. Just miss one for a year. Maybe 2. You miss 2. Who cares? Honestly. This is so blatant and farcical by the police, though. Even the Tory voters see it, yeah, but they'll still vote for him. Cummings implied he wasn't invited to a party in his own house. I mean, it seems that way. Did you read the report from the Electoral Commission? I've seen a bit of it on Twitter. I've got it open somewhere. I'll have a look on the tabs when we get there. Because, like I said, it's going to be a bit of a messy stream. This one from Momentum. I mean, people dying, losing a 120k job. I mean, she's sad that she got caught in 4K. She was on a lot of money, and now she's not. Dominic Cummings being very vocal about this, saying there's lots of pictures of the parties which will inevitably get out and invite lists beyond number 10 to other departments. Now, apparently the Mail and the Telegraph do have the lists of the people there. The problem is that they won't reveal those lists because potentially their journalists might be on those lists. Cressida Dick wants a written request within a year with prosecution level supporting evidence. I mean, yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? Dominic Raab saying the police don't investigate historic crimes. Like, no, that's exactly what they do. You got my boy Dan Hardy saying it's time for Boris to go. Politics UK, this guy's an MMA guy. Even he's getting involved. You've got athletes, celebrities getting involved, saying Johnson must go. That's how far this has transcended. You've got this bit. Number 10 Christmas party was planned 3 weeks prior to the event with WhatsApp invitations sent out while the UK was in full lockdown, according to the Times. So they clearly planned this out. Like, they can't deny this. And the fact that the Times are publishing this stuff is a pro-Tory paper doing this. The only reason they would be doing this is they're either outraged by this or they just don't want another lockdown. It's probably the second one. Yeah, she'll probably get another job at ITV, seeing as what's her name, Robert Peston wrote like a tweet about how much integrity and all this junk she has. So I'm guessing ITV I think she worked for the BBC at one point. I'm ITV and the BBC will probably snap her back up, but we'll see. But yeah, they can't deny. They're going to struggle to deny this. But the thing is, the Tory party's line, and the same with the Trump line, which is nothing happened, and then more details get out. It's like, well, nothing happened, but if something did happen, it wasn't illegal. Then more details come out. Well, it happened, but it's not illegal. And then eventually you get to a point where it's been deemed as illegal, but because it's gone so far down the line, no one cares anymore. I predict Sunak will take over, and the years of racist rhetoric will see Tories stay home come an election. Well, I want to say I hope that happens, but I kind of don't, because that's kind of sad. But yeah, I think it'll be Liz Truss. I'm going to cover that soon actually about Liz Truss, but I think it's going to be her. I think she's going to be the next Tory leader, because the Tories have had women as leaders before, but they've never had a minority. So I don't think that'll be Sunak, especially with him being dragged into this. Where has he gone? With his department being dragged into this, it's not a great look. We go on. Stan Hardy's tweet. There's the 3 weeks one. So this is more to this. I'd be surprised if Johnson was having a party right now. Oh, what would he be celebrating at the end of his reign? This is from Laura Kuenssberg again. Thinks Sunak has lost popularity. Yeah, I think the issue Sunak is going to have is he's been the one stopping the levelling up thing happening. So it's fairly public that it's him pulling the strings on the finances. So what Sunak doesn't realise is the things that made him popular were the things like the furlough scheme and the help out to eat out to help out and all this stuff. It's not the tax rises and the tax cuts for the rich. Those aren't the things that are going to help him in the polls. It's those tangible things. Oh, we've got a bot here. Bear with me a moment. Remove IDs there. Give me a second, guys. Sorry, I've got to remove this bot. There we go. Boom. Got rid of him. So yeah, going back to this tweet here, got distracted. He's understood. Every Friday, Doyle would thank staff for working hard, but that night we've been told he gave out numerous awards to the press team of 20 to 30 people. Reason why Doyle's presence at the do matters is that he's in charge of communications and has therefore been in charge of the strategy to say there was no party for the last 8 days. So essentially, he by the looks of it, he was there, and the reason why he's denying it so vehemently that the parties happened is because he was there, and therefore he could be in trouble. Laura Kuenssberg tweeting this out, he's apparently offered his resignation. He's apparently said, I will resign if you want me to. To all those people saying it's a gendered issue about the resignations, no. He has offered his resignation. Drink's weird, but it's got no sugar, so what you can see here is potentially the comms chief, the director of communications, was involved in these so-called parties, right? You've got, some of the closest people to the Prime Minister involved in this stuff. Are you telling me he was not there? Like, can anyone actually be honest and say he wasn't there? Like, really? I don't know, man. I wouldn't buy it at this point. I wouldn't buy it. Goes to our next tweet, which is this one's really interesting. So this is where the Pippa, I can't remember how to pronounce her second name, actually talks about how she got the information to break the story. And Paul Brandt talks about how he ICV got the leaked video. I watched about a minute or two of this, just a bit with Pippa's bit. I don't watch the bit about Paul. I'm talking about these people like they're my friends, but this is this dude here in the BBC, Ross Atkins and Emily Matlis and that guy, the other guy, Newsnight, the nerd one that I follow, Lewis Goodall, I think his name is. They're the three people probably the BBC who have kept some integrity over the last couple of years. I would say probably my three favourite people at the BBC at the moment. But yeah, we'll watch this video and I'll go back to looking at you guys if you've got any comments. So let's have a look. And just let me know if it's too quiet or too loud and I'll change the volume.
Pippa, if I could start with you. You started this ball rolling last week. When did you first hear about the party?
Well, I actually first heard rumours way back in January, but they were just that, and I wasn't able to substantiate. I tried my best, but didn't manage to get there. And
So she heard about this way back in January, but she needed concrete evidence, right? And she didn't have it. And obviously, if they publish a story without concrete evidence, that's how you get sued. Sorry, it's becoming a bad habit saying that. Anyways, yeah, let's carry on.
then about a month ago, I got handed what I'd describe as a metaphorical brown paper envelope, which contained enough evidence in it for me to start asking questions again.
So the thing here is, and this is the thing I've been asking about for a while, is who the hell is leaking this stuff? It has to be someone with very good connections in Downing Street, because not only have they got this information about the party, right, they've leaked stuff on the Treasury now, and they also had a video from ITV to leak as well. So who is doing this? That's what's crazy. Who is doing this?
So I then spent several weeks speaking to sources about whether a party had taken place. And then once I'd established that it had, speaking to them about who was at it, what was done at the party, the Secret Santa and the festive games and drinks and nibbles and so on. And then we were just really waiting for a moment that it'd be the right time to publish.
So
they had the information. They must have sat on it for a bit then. That's the thing. She's waiting for a right time to publish, which they deemed it as now, which is very strange. The question is, how long did she sit on this for?
come back to this story. You start having lots of conversations building on what you'd first heard about in January. Can you pinpoint a moment when you thought, my goodness, this is a huge story?
Well, last Tuesday, I was sitting in the number 9 briefing room, the same room, in fact, that Paul's video, the video that Paul and ITV showed of Allegra Stratton was filmed in, and listening to the Prime Minister's official spokesman at the normal lobby briefing. And that morning on the radio, Dr. Jenny Harris, the government, the UK Health Security Agency chief, had suggested that people might want to be a bit careful about how they socialised at Christmas and cut back on that in the coming weeks because of obviously the emergence of the Omicron variant. And with that at the back of our minds, we were all asking questions of the PM spokesman about whether we should be having Christmas parties, whether it was wise to follow her advice and what the official guidance was. And he made it quite clear that the official guidance at that time was not to cut back on Christmas parties, that these things could go ahead. Mm-hmm. Was really quite clear about that. Some interpreted that as a bit of a slapdown, in fact, of Jenny Harries. And I remember sitting there thinking, my goodness, people are talking about Christmas parties again. We have the uncertainties of what happens in the next few weeks and months with Omicron coming up. This is going to be in people's minds again. Now's the moment to do this story.
And you take that decision to...
So with the kind of, her thinking another lockdown is coming out, she decided to put this story out. Very strange. The timing of it, very, very strange indeed.
Do the story, but of course, journalists can't act alone. We're all part of bigger news organisations. What happens then? How many people are involved in assessing whether you've got enough to move with it?
Poor Paul, he's been sat there for like a good couple of minutes and no one's asked him anything.
Well, I think having been around in this game for quite a while and having one or two scoops under my belt, my superiors trust me that I'm not going to come to them with an allegation that I'm asking them to publish.
Yeah, we'll get that the Londoner. We'll get there.
Publish the next day, unless I'm sure it's pretty nailed on. My head of news, my news editor, the editor, obviously wanted to be part of that conversation. At no point does anybody ask for me to reveal my sources. That's not how it works.
So it's interesting. No one asked for a source because you can't reveal sources. It's very difficult in journalism to kind of reveal your source. But the question is, who is the source? Who's telling you this? That's the thing. That's the thing I want to know more than anything.
Trust that they trust in and faith in me, but I do sort of present the evidence and talk them through the story, and they all agreed that was the moment to run the story.
So you decided to run the story on Tuesday of last week, but were you ready to go with it actually quite a lot earlier?
Good question.
I suppose I could have pulled it together quickly. I mean, none of it was actually written as I sat there in the number 10 briefing. I had all the information I needed, but I needed still to sit in front of my keyboard and bash.
Yeah, I agree, Londoner. I think I agree.
It out, and of course I then did that very quickly earlier in the day, and then of course lawyers wanted to have a look, and the news desk wanted to have a look, and the people that put the paper together, the online team, everyone was discussing headlines. It's a bit of an operation.
So that's your experience. We'll come back to it. Paul.
No, she works for the Mirror, the Daily Mirror. She's a presenter on the Radio 4's The Week in Westminster, but she works for the Mirror predominantly.
Let's bring you in.
Yes, I know that's Murdoch Press before anyone says it.
When did you hear about this video?
Let's go, Paul.
So we heard about this video some time ago, and it's actually really interesting listening to Pippa explain her story there, because I had a similar experience actually, that we were aware of this video some time ago, but actually sometimes it takes the work of one journalist to help another journalist. And we had some really important considerations when we were looking at this video. I mean, it was filmed ultimately in a private setting, so there's a high bar for publishing that video. It needs a public interest. And on the first look,
I don't think so. I think she sounds like she sat on it for about a week or two at the most. But they had to substantiate it, and it has to go through lawyers and other processes before they can publish. So I think London, I think that's a bit unfair.
Look at the video before the context of the past few weeks. That bar we didn't feel was met, but when Pippa published her
Wait, what? What did he say?
setting, so there's a high bar for publishing that video. It needs a public interest.
All right. It does though. Regardless of when it was published in the year, it's in the public's interest, because evidently they broke the rules. Like, regardless of when you publish it, it's very much in the public interest.
And on the first look at the video, before the context of the past few weeks, that bar we didn't feel was met.
What do you mean you didn't feel you met it? You know, evidently, they were joking about Christmas parties. That does mean something. I disagree with Mr. Brand here. Excuse me.
When Pippa published her story and the denials began coming out of Downing Street, the public interest transformed, because we were able to demonstrate that perhaps what Downing Street were telling us wasn't quite in line with the way they were talking behind the scenes.
I think they had the video, but they were saying, like, maybe he's right. Without the context, they couldn't run with it, because it would just be hypotheticals at that point. But clearly something did happen when you published that story. Yeah, you can't go making up allegations without being able to back them up. That's how you get sued.
Around the time that the party is alleged to have taken place.
Now, hold on. I just want to make sure I've understood this, Paul. You'd heard about the video. Does that mean someone had actually told you, I've got a video?
Could have, but they would deny it. They have been.
Or maybe even had shown you the video but said we're not going to give you a copy of it yet, or you just heard rumours around Westminster that a video might exist and someone might have it.
Go on, Ross.
We've been working on this story for several weeks, so we were aware of the video, and we were working through the legals, and we have a fantastic lawyer here,
The legals take time. That's the main issue there. The lawyers they're quite slow.
John Battle, who was working with us in great detail on all of that.
Is the audio good, guys? Do you want me to change it or anything? Because there's a couple more minutes to go.
But like I say, things changed when Pippa's story was published.
Now, we were looking at the video and, of course, the impact that it's had, and we noticed some questions coming up again and again about it. So if you don't mind, I'd just like to ask you them. Did ITV pay for the video?
Good.
No, we did not pay for the video.
And why did you choose to blur some faces in it but not everyone's?
So again, Ros, that comes back to public interest, and obviously the repercussions for those who are identified can be quite severe, as we've seen with Allegra Stratton's resignation today. And we felt that we only wanted to identify those people who had said something that was in the public interest.
That seems fair. I think that seems fair. It does tell me that they had a longer video though, but I think that comment seems fair.
And there were people in the room who were participants, but perhaps not particularly active participants in the rehearsal that day, or they had made interventions that we didn't feel met that test of being in the public interest.
And the final question we've seen being asked a lot is whether this was filmed off a screen or whether it's actually the original video.
That's something that I can't get into with you, Ros, because as Pippa was saying earlier, protection of our sources is just of the utmost importance to us. And that means not just protecting the source's identity, but protecting how material comes into our hands.
Pippa and Paul, I must ask you, when you're in the middle of the maelstrom, when the information is out there and it's having an impact, Are you talking to the sources who gave you this information? Pippa, are you in touch with them saying, look, you see, I told you if you'd given me this information, it would have this impact?
I'm in touch with sources, but normally, and then certainly in this case, it's more of a case of, are you okay? Are you, how are you finding all of this? Sort of almost like a sort of a support, I guess.
There's a duty of care.
Oh, definitely. Absolutely. And that can
If they had known about the video, they could have looked for a copy under Freedom of Information. Destroying a record after Freedom of Information requests a big no-no. Also risky if there was a number of copies. Yeah, I suppose so, but the thing is, at the moment, I think they take ages to give you Freedom of Information requests. I think it can be like 6 months or something like that they can take up to. So no, I agree with you to an extent that they could have done that, but they didn't.
Continues. I mean, I'm still in touch with some sources.
Also, it would have made it more public or sort of more widespread that there's a video out there somewhere. Like, it goes beyond a rumour once you put a FOIA in, I think.
And the Barnard Castle scoop, that goes on for a very long time.
Paul, have you spoken to the person who gave you the video?
We have done, and I would absolutely repeat what Pippa's just said about duty of care. And I think that's something you have to bear in mind all the way through, is that all of us on this show today are used to operating in a media environment. Often the sources that we're speaking to have no experience whatsoever of the media until the point at which they're thrust into that spotlight. And that, to some degree, was the case with our source for our story yesterday. So we absolutely have a duty of care to them to make sure they're okay, that they're dealing with that pressure okay, because they're anxious, like any source would be, about being found out. And we have to make sure that we kind of hold.
Why hide someone's identity? There's a lot of reasons why. I mean, they could struggle with potential employment in the future. Their family could be attacked. There are lots of reasons why, they could be blacklisted. There's a lot of reasons why you would hide someone's identity. But the question is there's only one person I could think of it could be, and his name ends with ings. He's the only one. It's all right. It's all right, Maria. All good. The only person would be, but I'd recommend if you go back through, this video is quite interesting. This one here is quite interesting video. What I would say is that, oh God, I've lost my phrasing now. I wouldn't, there's a lot of reasons why you'd hide a source, trust me. It would have raised eyebrows and got people looking into it. Maybe someone would have found. So I think there were quite a few people aware of a potential Christmas party, but I think Downing Street would have shut up shop about it and would have locked down sources really aggressively. I think that's maybe why they didn't bother. They needed something concrete, evidently, because she's not the only person who would have known in January, I believe. Anyways, we're going to go on a break before... Oh my God, almost knocked my phone over there. What's the next one about? Oh, right, yeah, this one's great. We're going to some of the banter clips now. There's been a Christmas party in your house, Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson.
I don't know, Jeff, has it? I must have missed that.
Sorry. I know, put the volume up, sorry guys, it's great. So, Boris, there's been a party at your house.
I don't know, Jeff, has it? I must have missed that.
So yeah, we'll take a minute's break, if that's right. We'll put some tunes back on. Oh, do you know what? I quite like this one, actually, by my boy MB. But we'll take a couple minutes break, and we'll go back into the old clips. Yeah, let's have a look. So it would have raised eyebrows, got people look into it. Those journalists would have been aware, trust me. 6 months is a long time to process a FOIA, and I managed Irish civil servants, had to be reviewed in 30 days. Okay, that's interesting. I can't remember how long they take in the UK, but it can take a while. Okay, maybe on the basis their family's being attacked. Is it okay to attack her family? I mean, absolutely not, no. They've done nothing wrong. It's her. She's the one that messed up. So no, absolutely no. You never attack anyone's family. No, definitely not. That's a big no. Don't know what the Londoners laughing at. Allegra Stratton is super cute. I mean, if she's what you like, then fair enough. But she looks like a female Skeletor to me. I would put money on it that they sat on that video. Yeah, I think they needed. Sorry, I don't want the music to be too loud. I think they wanted some sort of context around it. They needed something concrete, and as soon as Downing Street denied there were parties there. I think that's when they're like, right, we can run with this. We can run with this. What I'll do is I'll take a break until about until about 35, and then we'll carry on. Oh, it's great, isn't it? It's great. You want to hear it again? Hold up. Let me play it again. Boris, there's been a party at your house.
I don't know, Jeff, has there? I must have missed that.
The best thing is he actually saw this clip and he laughed at it as well. In this context, obviously, he's probably watched it 1,000 times because it comes up all the time. It's kind of crazy how talented these guys are. Martin Blue, Retro, LSE. It is quite crazy. Still a lot to go through actually. I was going quite fast and then I think that clip kind of killed the momentum. Get your comments in now guys, I can read them fairly quickly before we move on to the next bit. This in the let's put a link for this in the old description before MB goes after me. So to say, support the channel on Patreon if you can. There's a link to the Patreon in the description of the video. What did someone say? I think it. What do you think? Alright. What we'll do is we'll move on to the next load of tweets. I can't wait to close off all these tabs because my RAM, it's scary. Look what I've done. Oh, it's at 95. Look how they massacred my boy. It's sad to think they win the next election. Yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? Kind of is. So, summary. This is from a couple of days ago. So far, what do we know? Carrie has hosted a flat party apparently on November 13th. The Prime Minister attended a leaving do and a drinking session on November 27th. Gavin Williamson hosted a DFE party, Department for Education. December 18th, Downing Street Bash. Date unclear, Christmas quiz, and we know there was a secret Santa. Not very secret anymore, is it? Go on. So Dominic Cummings saying, will the Cabinet Secretary also be asked to investigate the flat party on the 13th November, the other flat parties and the flats bubble policy. So I was kind of thinking, what's he talking about? And then you realise Carrie hosted a flat party on the 13th. Now, Dominic Cummings is mentioning this one specifically because he evidently does not like Carrie Symonds that much. He called her a princess and nutnut or something like that, which is just so weird. And Boris Johnson, you've got the Conservative Party was fined £17,800 for failing to accurately report a donation for the work on the flat party. Of course, the BBC isn't reporting it in the way, but actually the Electoral Commission has found beyond reasonable doubt that the Treasurer of the Conservative Party has committed a criminal offence, and at this point the police should really get involved, but the Met Police don't apparently investigate historical crimes or something. I don't know. They say it's for COVID reasons, which, okay, fine, but still. In May, the Prime Minister told Lord Geidt that he did not know who was behind the number 11 flat refurb until February 2021. Today, the Electoral Commission says Boris Johnson WhatsApped Lord Brownlow, which I'll say Lord Brown envelope, in November 2020, asking for more cash for the November 11 refurb. So, 100%. He definitely, by the looks of it, he probably knew who funded the flat. Sorry, I get the difference, and no one should be open to physical attacks. Anyone there is complicit, though. Yeah, that's true, but you know, you would have to get rid of a lot of people if we go down this kind of road. I think the ones who should get rid of the ones at the top and the cabinet ministers and probably some backbenchers. Those staffers will go once we get rid of those guys. Tory MP Philip Davies to Sajid Javid, or the Saj as he calls himself, in the Commons just now. Can he give me any reason why at all I shouldn't tell my constituents to treat these rules in exactly the same way number 10 Downing Street treated last year's rules? And you know, that guy MJT clearly does not understand what the Philip Davies is saying, because if it's the case that Johnson can just ignore these COVID rules that he's implementing on people, why the hell should anyone else actually listen? We've already seen from YouGov 1 in 10 people are saying they're not going to follow the rules, and I guarantee you that number is actually going to be higher. It's just people won't say it even in a poll because people are scared. But yeah, what have you got here? I thought they'd made a sub-Londoner. What? I would pay for NR10 refurb if they use Grenfell cladding. Oh mate, don't make jokes. Don't make jokes about Grenfell. Don't do that. Oh, that's no. No, that's something I need to start talking about a lot more, to be honest. So Tory spokesperson confirms time story of party in Tory HQ, senior CCHQ, that's Conservative something headquarters. Staff became aware of an unauthorised social gathering in the basement of Matthew Parker Saint, organised by Bailey campaign, that'd be Andrew Bailey, on the 14th of December. I mean, why was he having a celebration like he lost? Formal disciplinary action for HQ staff seconded to the campaign. I mean, why didn't they call the feds then? Priti Patel said, if anyone's caught breaking the rules, you should absolutely call the police. Why did CCHQ not call the police? Because now we know the Met aren't going to investigate it because it's a historical COVID crime. But yeah, evidently CCHQ did not follow what the protocol was at the time, which is call the feds. We got Douglas Ross, who I wrongly called Douglas Murray at one point. It's Douglas 4 Murray. Yeah, that's his Twitter handle. So we listen to what he has to say.
If the Prime Minister knew about this party last December, knew about this party last week and was still denying it, then that is the most serious allegation, and there's absolutely no way you can mislead Parliament and think you would be able to get off with that. And that would be a matter not just for me, but I would have thought Lindsay Hoyle as the Speaker of the House of Commons and many, many others would be raising.
So just to be clear then, if it transpires that Boris Johnson knew about this party and misled Parliament, you would expect to see his resignation?
Misleading Parliament in that way is completely unacceptable, and no one should continue in their posts if they mislead Parliament.
So there you got Douglas Ross selling the reporter Lindsay Beales. The Prime Minister could not continue if he knew about the party and denied it. So let's see how vocal he is when inevitably, well, to be fair, Boris Johnson's not going to ever admit to knowing about the party, in my opinion. But there's going to be more and more evidence to say Johnson knew about the party. Let's see what Douglas Ross says then, as the leader of the Scottish Tories. Go on. On the day of the Downing Street party, so it'd be one of the parties, 500 people died. 500 people died. Clearly this guy's a clown, doesn't get it. Your boot, sir. Yes, I'm sure he would enjoy that very much. 500 people died while these men were partying. You know, saying follow the rules, don't see your loved ones. Those 500 people wouldn't have been able to see their family as they took their last breath. That's what really annoyed me with this story. Not about the party stuff, but the fact is that people couldn't see their family members die. That's it. They'll never be able to speak to them again. Yeah, I know, Cathal. I know the context behind that story. It's oh, okay, you explain it to Londoner. Okay. Yeah, alright, no worries, yeah. It was a very funny story, that one was. This meme I found hilarious. So I can excuse aspiring towards fascism, but I draw the line at a Christmas party. Sorry. Just really funny. That meme is so great. You got even man like CNN. CNN are talking about this. Leaked video, Boris Johnson had a party during lockdown. CNN covering this. It's crazy. We've got, imagine, this is probably the best tweet I've seen come out about this. Imagine not being invited to a party in your own home. This is probably the funniest tweet I've seen from this. I would very much, if I were you guys, follow her on Twitter because she's pretty funny. and she's a political correspondent at Joe News as well, which is pretty great considering she was a producer at the LBC, I think. And yeah, generally, she seems like a fairly nice person, and she's funny. What more can you ask for? Let's see what else we got. This is Johnson's MO: never apologise, never explain. Has long been Johnson's watchword. He has now apologised, and he has explained that it was someone else's fault. He's threatened those who work for him with disciplinary action. Those who trash their staff often live to regret it. And yeah, essentially it might be a case they shiv him before he can shiv them. There will be another fishing dispute with France within the next few days to distract. I don't think there will be, because apparently the UK has given some more fishing licenses to the French. So I don't know, man. I don't know if there will be another dispute soon, especially with the UK caving over some of the ECJ stuff in the Northern Ireland Protocol. So I don't know who they're going to pick a fight with. Might go back to the Falklands some more. There has been revealed that there were at least 3 different Christmas parties, including one in Boris Johnson's flat, while the rest of the UK was in lockdown. So how do you deny a party happening when it was in your own flat? Imagine, right? People don't invite you to a party in your own flat, and then you don't call the police about people breaking the lockdown rules. Like, that's wild. Like, you're telling me him and his wife weren't invited to a party in their own house. Who was having the party? Wilfred. Did Wilfred invite the mandem round? I was like, yo, bruv, come round. What is this? What is this? Honestly. France 24 is reporting about a new dispute. Can you post that in the Discord, please, and I'll have a look? Christian, if you post that in the Discord, I can have a look at that. Thanks, mate. You got hi Mick. Although there are exemptions for work purposes, you must not have a work Christmas lunch or party where that is primarily social activity and not otherwise permitted by the rules in your tier. You can find more information here. So this was from last year, where the government Twitter posting that you should not have a work Christmas lunch or party that is primarily a social activity, which is what the government have been accused of doing consistently. So, shocker there. I would have deleted this tweet if I were them, but yeah. BBC says Sajid Javid was due to do a round of broadcast interviews, and this was on the 8th, but is no longer available after the Christmas video was released. Like, he was like, nah dog, I ain't going to defend this brother like this. Not today. Not today, big man. So yeah, he did not go in. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, this is another favourite one. So we've got Starmer's response. Have they got my tweet? Yeah, they do. My tweet says. So let's have a look at what Starmer's response was to some of this stuff.
Unfortunately, we've got a Prime Minister who is socially distanced from the truth. Unfortunately, we've got a Prime Minister who is socially distanced from the truth. Unfortunately, we've got a Prime Minister who is socially distanced from the truth.
And this is how they thought the reaction would go down. It's crazy. 34 people actually like this tweet I posted, this GIF I posted. You know, like, bruv, like, is this the best you got? Like, he needs to start throwing hands. He needs to start throwing hands, saying, whilst people were dying, the Prime Minister was laughing it up in Downing Street. His spokesperson was making jokes about, this non-existent party. Like, what the hell? That's what I'd be saying. I would be being relentless about this. I'd be going after him, throwing haymakers right now, liver shots and everything, because right now he's on the ropes, and Starmer has to be aggressive. He has to not call for him to resign, but to assess his position right now. And I would look at the backbenchers and say, look, how can any of you guys go back to your constituents and say that your Prime Minister, the head of your party, is acting out in their interests when your constituents were dying? When your constituents were suffering in hospital, this man was having a party with his nearest and dearest. His staffers were having parties. His staffers were joking and openly mocking all of our constituencies by not following the rules that they had set out. That's what I'd be doing right if I was Starmer's team. I'd be going after him, not coming out with crappy lines like...
Unfortunately, we've got a Prime Minister who is socially distanced from the truth.
I'm just going to replay it for like 3 times, just so you guys can hear how crappy this attack line is. And look how determined he is to say it. You definitely know he stayed up in the mirror practicing this one.
Unfortunately, we've got a Prime Minister who is socially distanced from the truth. Unfortunately, we've got a Prime Minister who is socially distanced from the truth. Unfortunately, we've got a Prime Minister who is socially distanced from the truth.
If I was the, I'd just be saying, Ian Blackwood, I think he's fine. I think the resignation, I think is fine. What I'd be saying if I was Starmer is this the guy you want leading your party, a man who does not follow the rules? Excuse me. How do you go back to your constituents and tell them to follow the, sorry, fizz drinks. How can you go back and tell your constituents to follow the rules your leader has set out when he won't follow his own damn rules? He has to go. Tell them, look, the hospitals are filling up. People aren't going to listen to this man because it's one rule for him and one rule for the rest of you. How many of these other MPs had Christmas parties? That's what I'd ask him. And if you didn't, because you followed the rules like you were meant to, how can you look at the Prime Minister and say, oh, right, he's the right man for this? Honestly. So yeah, even some of Johnson's own aides say this indefensible and catastrophic. No minister out to defend the government on that day. In on the Discord now, it's 1 minute 30 seconds clip. The licenses haven't been made anyways. All right, cool. I'll have a look. I'll have a look at that. Thanks, mate. Got some more. So this is Tory propaganda machine goes. The staff at number 10 worked together. Long hours, pressure, risk, dealing with the pandemic since March. I mean, okay, let's break this down. Okay, let's break this down. Worked together, long hours. Those are people who've had long hours. Nurses, doctors, people that have had to work during the pandemic have done long hours. So get out of here with that one. You got pressure. Everyone's under pressure. Risk. What risk? They could have worked from home for the most part. No risk. Dealing with the pandemic since March. Sort of healthcare staff. The rest of the middle classes were safely locked down while with others supplying them food, water, Wi-Fi and energy. That's not true. I mean, are you saying all middle class people work from home? Like, you're having a laugh, pal. At Christmas, they had a few drinks together. It's not a scandal. It wasn't a few drinks, bro. They had a Christmas party. There was a Secret Santa. They all went for a gathering. It's not a couple of drinks. And even if it was a couple of drinks, it still violates the rules. So, Tory propaganda machine goes, bruh. This guy. They're laughing at you. He's lying to you. The Prime Minister is socially distanced from the truth. I mean, that's not the line I'd go with. But, you got Allegra Stratton here, laughing it up with the crew. Prime Minister accused of lying. I mean, I don't have any sympathy for her. Honestly, I don't. Even you got men like Ant and Dec talking, going after him.
It is all change in camp now, though, because yesterday the celebs chose a new leader via the gift of a secret vote.
And that means David's reign is over. But they weren't celebrating.
No.
They didn't have a party. They categorically deny any suggestions that they had a party. And this fictional party definitely didn't involve cheese and wine or a Secret Santa.
Evening, Prime Minister. For now.
I mean, this is what we'll cut through. People like normies who aren't political junkies, they watch this sort of shows and they will see this stuff and they'll realise they're being mocked. Let's see, go back to comments. Yeah, they're not going to back Ian Blackwood, but he's trying to put them in a position where they're going to have to back him, even through all this stuff. Starmer would be silly to start advocating for Johnson's removal for Labour's benefit. He needs to remain Prime Minister for a while longer. Not necessarily. I think if they get a leader who's not popular, I mean, the Tory party is split, right? They either get someone in like Sunak who doesn't have the charisma or a populist, or isn't as populist as Boris Johnson, who's very much more a fiscal conservative, more a Thatcherite or a Javid type guy, a Javid Osborne, that type of character, right? Or you go the other way and you get someone who's more similar to Johnson, more of a populist and Liz Truss, who isn't as popular, doesn't have the same energy or kind of Teflon-ness, the Teflon that Johnson has. So you get a riskier bet with, what's her name, man? Liz Truss. So the two paths the stories have are not great. I mean, if anything, they're best off sticking out with Johnson until the next election. But what they have to do is make it untenable. So they have to get rid of the Prime Minister now, so that they're not gonna call for a general election next year. It'll have to be in 2023. So you can stick all this stuff on the Prime Minister. Hey, Purple. This is a bit of a politics stream, so I don't know if this will be a thing. It's a British politics thing. No gaming today. Maybe I'll pick that up soon. The sooner the new leader comes in, the better. Yeah, exactly. You've been watching Phil's videos. That's the point. Get rid of Johnson now. Get a new leader in. force a general in 23, and stick all this stuff on the new leader who would have been aware of this stuff if they were in the cabinet. There's no way they didn't hear any stories about a party happening. See what else we got. Party number 8. It's now been revealed that Rishi Sunak's team had a party during the lockdown last year. Again, shocker. The Treasury apparently having party. Evidence of cocaine was found in the toilets near to Boris Johnson's office. I mean, this story is completely dead. I don't mind politics. I've been in the drama community for a while. Nothing more dramatic than politics, my friend. So what we can do is, for the next couple of minutes, we're going to... some of this stuff's copyrighted. Need to be careful. Sure, we'll go back, listen to some retro. For the next kind of... until 4, we'll just put the tunes back on and we'll go through some comments. If there's anything important you guys want me to see, let me know. At least someone was buying English cheese after Brexit. They could be having French cheese. That wine was definitely not English, so you got projects to do. No worries, man. Hope you feel better. And good luck on your projects. At least someone... I think they were having French cheese and French wine, mate, to be honest. I don't think they were having English cheese. As much as I do enjoy cheddar and red Leicester, I don't think they do as much. I think they like the fancier stuff. But yeah, it's been a wild stream, hasn't it? How's the channel's metrics looking like? What's this? So you peaked at around 22 people. That's alright, it's not bad. Well, yeah, we'll run to about 4 o'clock and we'll end it, because I've got other stuff I need to do today as well, and probably work on editing those videos I recorded earlier today. But yeah, I mean, can he hold on much longer? Like, can he do it? PMQ's going ahead on Wednesday. I don't know, it's not been confirmed yet. I think Johnson's going to do his best to call an early recess. I haven't heard it's been cancelled yet, so we'll have to wait on that one. Yeah, the issue is, with that one, Paul, the issue is, right, so if we break down each bit where you put on, blame a lot of the damage for the pandemic response, right? If it's a cabinet member, if it's Sunak or Liz Truss, they can't blame it just on Johnson because they were part of the cabinet. There is collective responsibility. Brexit, again, they were part of that. Corruption, they voted for the Leadsom Agreement or the Leadsom Amendment, which would have reformed the investigations process, I think, in Parliament, which would have led to Patterson being able to fully appeal his case. So I don't think they'll be able to do that. Many Tory leading swing voters will go along with it. I potentially some of them will, but I don't think all of them will, because this cabinet would have been well aware. The only way they could do that is if they got Sunak in as a really smooth operator. But the thing is, Sunak, I don't think would appeal to a lot of northern voters because of the failure of the Level Up scheme, and Sunak is a minority as well, which some Tories don't like. Let's not pretend racism isn't rampant in the party. You need to pin it on the government, not just Johnson. Yeah, that's the key there. And what Starmer and Blackford need to do is ask all of these Tory MPs, right, is this the guy you want running the country? A guy who keeps creating rules and cannot stick to them. A guy who's one rule for them, one rule for us. A guy who's backed Tory party corruption. A guy who refuses to do what needs to be done to help this country. A guy who has led to this country having one of the highest per capita death rates. Excuse me. And whilst those people are dying, he was laughing up having a party. So we look at some of these final tweets, right? Where is it gone? You've got number 10 party like there was no tomorrow as NHS staff fought desperately to save lives. So, number 10 party like there was no tomorrow. So yeah, this is the stuff here. This stuff will stick. But this is what they have to do. They have to make sure this stuff sticks on the party. This is sleaze. This is dodgy. This is corrupt. One rule for them, one rule for us. Absolutely one of the worst hit economies, especially as import checks kick in next year and more businesses struggle. And you know, they've got to appeal to those farmers and stuff like that and say, look, man, because of this Tory government, you guys couldn't, you know, you guys are struggling. You know, they've cut your subsidies, they've cut your ability to get meat processed, to get crops picked, etc., to transport the stuff, to get everything processed and sold in the shops. That's what they need to do. Start going to people and saying, look, because of this government, we've had massive inflation and a lack of pay rises. That's what they've got to do. Yeah, they could have done, but the thing is, like I said, I reckon they're torn between Sunak and Truss. Because they're two different parts of the Conservative Party. That's the main problem. So yeah, I think they are torn. They are torn. The Red Wallers are evidently, they want to go with Truss. And I think the Mandem in the South, they want to go with Sunak. But yeah, I just don't know. Kind of worried about energy bills next year. Every house in Ireland's getting €100 knocked off. Electricity, what's coming? I'm not sure. But in the UK, it's going to get a lot worse. Especially being outside of the EU's internal energy market. I think production dropped off massively last year, early this year. That's why we're having so many problems. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Right, we've got about a minute left in the stream, guys. Is there anything more you guys want to say? Any final comments or anything else you want to add before I call this one? I'll try and bring these back to be like a weekly stream, but it's just a struggle at the moment. I guess they'll go for Sunak or Truss this time and then blame everything on them before coming up with Hunt. I don't think they can go with Hunt. PE, that's a good guess, you know, that is a good guess. But I don't think Hunt will, you know, Hunt, a Remainer who really struggled in the last leadership election. I don't think he'll be the one. Sunak won't be Prime Minister. He doesn't feel the requirements to get the base around him. I think you're right, but I think he'll still be a problem. He's competent. He's very competent. That's the main problem. Anyways, it's 4 o'clock. Been streamed for about an hour, so we'll call it here. You know, it's a dying empire, and it'll only get worse. But look, I'm gonna leave it here. Thanks everyone who joined. I've got a video coming out in about 45 minutes. No, an hour and 15 minutes. Yeah, enjoy your weekend, everyone, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.